Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Lori. Today I am really excited to tell you about my thrifting experience in Paris. Just a couple of weeks ago on my 30th wedding anniversary, my husband had to travel to Amsterdam. We had already planned a big trip to Italy in September. Hello, Lumpy. So we planned on having a pretty low-key anniversary here at home. And then he got word that he had to travel to Amsterdam. So he said, well, why don't you come with me so we're not apart? His office is closed for the week of the 4th of July. Come on up, Lumpy. So he was able to get some time off. So I said, well, since we're going to be in Amsterdam, I've never been to Paris. What do you think? Should we try to go for it? So we did. Of course, when I was in Paris, I had to go thrifting, right, Lumpy? I mean, you can't go to Paris and not do some shopping. So I'm going to bring you to a couple places that we went shopping. Not everything that I'm going to show you today is thrifting, but the bulk of the video will be in the thrift store, and then we'll come back and I will show you what I picked up afterwards. And I just want to give a little disclaimer. This is not like a guide to thrifting in Paris. We basically had 2 days, and thrifting was not like the main reason for going there. One thing that I do like to point out is when I travel, I'm always looking for a more authentic thrift store, not to be confused with the variety of vintage, upscale, consignment style stores that I see a lot when I travel. So in Paris, Spain, Amsterdam, there are a lot of like classic vintage stores, but there's really no room in those stores for the most part to flip items for a profit. I like the old-fashioned Goodwill style thrift stores where I can find a bargain. So that's what I was seeking out here. I had seen on Google that this particular shop that I went to, I think there is a chain of them, that this was the most like a Goodwill style shop. And it was still pretty nice. Let's jump back in time and we'll take a little trip to Paris. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I agree, Paris. Stomp the rats.
Why don't you print one of those up? We should buy that as a souvenir.
What's crazy at this is they said this is the Goodwill equivalent. This is so nice. It's beautiful.
je connais bien parce qu'il n'y a pas de vin. Envoyez. Je vais sortir. Qualité, la masse. Regarde.
Bonjour, ça se trouve, je vais finir un peu tôt. J'ai pas finalement, il est pas beau, le chien. Il est pas beau.
C'est tout, hein.
J'ai un peu couché. T'as rendez-vous? Ouais. Ah, c'est bien.
Ouais, mais c'est pas...
Je vais appeler Corinne. Je vais commencer à travailler.
Là, nous déguisons, ça veut dire quoi? Ça veut dire une soirée 25. Disons.
Normalement, génial.
Les deux matins? Oui, c'est ça. Non, mais c'est bon, c'est joli. 45, 50. Ah, même le client britannique parle anglais. Malika. Ah.
Hi friends, I'm just jumping in here to say a quick thank you to today's sponsor, Punctual. I want to share with you the skincare product that I tested and was actually surprised by in the very best way. It's an innovative micro needling patch that packs the power of multiple skincare steps in one tiny patch. This box contains 4 packages, which has 2 under eye or smile line patches and 1 frown line patch. What's wild is that the micro needles are made of active ingredients that dissolve directly into your skin. This is pain-free, dermatologist approved, and super easy to use even when you're traveling. You feel a little bit as you're pushing it in, like maybe like a little bit of a prickling, but no pain. In fact, I found myself like pushing in just to like get that little feeling to know that they were going into my skin. I'm purposely not wearing a lot of makeup because I wanted you to see how it looks. 2 nights ago, I treated my upper lip, and then last night I treated my forehead. I think that the upper lip worked really, really well. After just 1 treatment, I really noticed a difference. My forehead, I think, is probably going to take a few more treatments. I feel like the results were a little bit more subtle on that. This is a product that the more consistently you use it, the better the results are. I tried Botox 1 time and I really did not love the results. So I love Punctual because it's much more affordable than something like Botox, and I feel like I'm more in control. You leave them on for 2 hours at least. Last night I actually fell asleep with the patches on, which, you know, is again a testament to how comfortable they were for me. But in both cases, with my upper lip and with my forehead, my skin felt more refreshed and plumper. Punctual is made in Korea. Korea is known for its innovative skincare, and I love that it's allergen free and just so simple to apply. Just press, sleep, and wake up with smoother skin. If you'd like to give Punctual a try, go to the link below and use code LORITATA. You'll save up to 20% off your Punctual packs. Whether you're just starting your skincare journey or you're looking for a non-invasive boost to your skin, Punctual is definitely worth a try. Okay, so just a few things that I picked up, and actually I don't think anything for resale. Maybe the belt, actually, maybe the belt that I picked up. Oh, sorry, lumps. I decided to pick up this little trinket box that I think is really pretty. I love little wooden boxes like this, and the detail on this little trinket box is so beautiful. I think there are a couple of little imperfections, like there's like a teeny little chip over here, but this was €2.50, $2.50. I mean, which is about $3. And I just thought it was really cute. And we did have my diamond reset for my anniversary, and unfortunately it wasn't ready when we went to Europe. So I've actually been without my diamond for over a month. I'm picking it up today and I'm very, very excited about that. I was thinking about my ring and I thought, oh, it would be nice to have this little trinket box. I don't really have a jewelry box in Boston. I end up putting like my jewelry and earrings and stuff on the windowsill at the end of the day. So I thought this would be cute to just bring back to Boston and make me think of my little trip to Paris. And you know, you really couldn't beat the price. Yeah, it's also a little bent on the inside here. But I don't mind those little imperfections when they're for me and when it makes me remember such a special time. Paris really exceeded all of my expectations. I had this impression like the people weren't going to be nice to us. It was so wonderful. I couldn't even believe it. I mean, just so much fun. So that first shop that we went to was recommended from a friend of a friend, and I wasn't even seeking it out. We took the train to that neighborhood just to check it out because we had heard great things, and it was the first shop that I saw once we got off the metro, and boy, it was phenomenal. It was kind of like an Anthropologie. They had stationery, they had houseware, they had beautiful clothing, definitely on the pricey side, but I could have spent all day there. It was just such a great, great store, and I didn't buy anything. I think because it was my first shop, I was just like taking it in. And then when we went back to the hotel, we took a different train, so I didn't make it back to that store. It's called Merci, and it was just phenomenal. I did end up getting these loafers, and they do fit. I feel like I've been on the pursuit for a really nice pair of loafers. I'm not really a loafer girl, but I'm trying to get more classic pieces, like timeless pieces in my wardrobe. I think I have bought like 4 pairs of loafers and then kind of gotten them home, worn them around the house a little bit, tried them on, and then sold them. I'm hoping that these are actually going to stay in my collection. This brand is Bata, B-A-T-A, and they are made in Italy. They're absolutely beautiful. They were a little over 20 euro, but I thought it was worth it. I thought these were really beautiful. They're like a dusty blue suede. Just gorgeous. They fit really nicely. They're in excellent condition. So I'm hoping to keep these, but if I sell them, I'll probably sell them for about $50 or $60. I love just grabbing accessories that are lightweight when I travel. I did not bring extra luggage on this vacation, but I did pick up this belt, $12.50. I didn't think this was this expensive. It's just a snakeskin belt. Really beautiful. The brand is Karl Mark John. Here's the tag. Let me know if you're familiar with this. I was just looking for nice pieces, nice quality classic pieces. I actually wore this outfit when I was in Paris. There was a day that we went to a shop called Louise Carmen. That is a luxury notebook shop where you can go in and you can customize your notebooks. I've actually been posting about these on TikTok. I changed my TikTok account from Lori's Boston Found to Lori and Tata. I think I'm rebranding Time with Tata just as my name, Lori and Tata. I'm totally enamored with this brand right now, but this is more content for my stationery pen channel. But you get to go into this little shop in Paris and customize your notebook. This is vegetable tan leather. You pick the leather you want. You pick the insert, the portfolio insert, which is also made of leather, and it has some storage pockets, different types of notebooks you can choose. You can customize these notebooks. I had our anniversary stamped here, and then my initials down at the bottom. You can choose charms that you like. I got this Eiffel Tower. I got the L for my initial and a heart because it was my anniversary. This was such a special experience. I had reached out to the owner ahead of time and they gave me a private meeting after the shop closed to design my notebooks because I told them I was going to be, filming and putting something on my YouTube channel. So they were kind enough to let me in. And also while I was there, I got this little red notebook. I had La Dolce Vita put on. I was thinking of my Italy trip for this. I have my Cancer crab little charm for my zodiac here, and I had an Italian horn put on the side for a charm to ward off the evil eye. We all wore Italian horns growing up in my neck of the woods, and this has like this gorgeous insert. This experience was one of the reasons why I went to Paris, and it did not disappoint. This was a huge part of my adventure there. Because my meeting was later in the day, the notebooks weren't going to be ready until the following day because they customize everything right down to like the elastic that you choose, the charms, the engraving, all that. The following day we went to the Louvre and we went for a tour at the Louvre, and then I went back and I picked up my notebooks. But this was a shopping experience like no other. Lately, I've been so much more into luxurious notebooks, things that I reach for to journal. I journal every day, and I love that in here you can customize all the notebooks. There's also a company called Paper Republic that I've been exploring. So I've kind of been doing a comparison of a lot of different notebook covers on my other channel. This to me is better than Louis Vuitton. I'm actually selling my 2 Louis Vuitton agendas in the smaller size. This to me is personal, supporting a small business, and it feels so much more meaningful than brand name luxury lately. I've just been really questioning those types of purchases and just enjoying this type of thing. And it's not inexpensive. It's still luxury, but in a different way, and it's more meaningful. So this was a huge part of my trip to Paris, which is why, even though I don't usually talk about notebooks over here, I wanted to mention this shopping experience and how wonderful it was. Back to thrifting. I love my loafers. They're really nice, very classic. And this is the outfit that I wore, which was 100% thrifted. I think for shoes that night, I just wore my black Birkenstocks because, you know, you walk so much in Paris that you have to be comfortable. This is what I wore one of the days in Paris. I meant to do a try-on haul with some of the outfits that I had purchased at Old Navy and some other thrifted items that I had put together. If I have pictures, I will be sure to put them up while I'm talking and you can see some. I know that I did wear like a striped top that felt very Parisian. And the night of our anniversary, there was this crazy storm in Paris. We were across from the Eiffel Tower, and the awning at the restaurant that we were at ripped off of the side of the building. There were tables that were smashing. One of the servers had fallen. They had to carry him in. Everybody from the outside came in. They had to close the metro because water was pouring into the metro. Our Uber canceled on us because the roads were flooded so badly. And in the morning, we were taking the train from Amsterdam to Paris. Our train was canceled because thieves had stolen cables off of the train. So all of these trains in Belgium, Paris, London, and Amsterdam, like that whole route, so many trains were canceled. We had to get a train from a third party. Jay had booked like a first class train with lunch because it was our anniversary. And we ended up having like 2 layovers and we were squished in like sardines. It was insane. And then we got to Paris, got all dressed up, and then there was this crazy storm at our restaurant. But it was an adventure that I will never, ever, ever forget. Our 30th anniversary was really epic. Also, when I was thrifting, I tried on that adorable red blazer and I was wearing a striped top underneath, and I felt like that was like the quintessential Parisian outfit. I wanted that blazer to fit me so bad, and it looked fine in the video, but I couldn't button it. It was just a little tight. That would have been so nice to get like a red wool classic vintage blazer from a Paris thrift shop. I was really sad that that didn't fit me because it would have been like the perfect souvenir to take home. I did, however, get this linen dress, which I thought was really pretty. I ended up buying some lightweight stuff, and that was another thing. Like the wool blazer would have been trying on my luggage. I need to get smarter and start bringing large luggage and extra baggage. And people give me all sorts of suggestions in the comments, and I really appreciate it. But honestly, it's kind of by design. I just don't trust myself if I bring extra luggage, and I really have to be selective when I have to worry about packing. So this was a great option. This is a really beautiful dress. It fits really nice. It's like a light blush color. I'm not really into bling on my clothing so much. However, when it's really subtle like this on a very classic piece, I think it's really beautiful. And there's also more sequins along the hem. This is a really beautiful lightweight dress. However, it's very sheer, so I have to wear a slip under it, and I can't think of the last time I wore a slip, but I really do love this. So I am going to bust out a slip to wear under this dress, and it's just easy, looks really cute with just simple flip-flops, very beachy. This is a blouse that I bought. The brand is Carol Paris. Another blush color, very lightweight, button front, collarless. It has this one little gold button here at the top and then button down the front and this little detail. I had brought in a pair of white jeans. I ended up buying them from Sézane. Pretty good deal. I think I spent 20 euro on those. However, I'm gonna see if they fit Angelina, and if not, I will sell them. I would have loved to have found a pair of white jeans to go with this blouse that was in my size. There was no chance they were fitting me, but I'm gonna see if Angie likes them, and if she likes them, I will give them to her as a little Paris souvenir. Otherwise, I will sell them. The last thing that I bought at this store was this beautiful scarf. I thought that this was just classic, kind of my colors. It just felt like Paris to get a little scarf. Don't wear scarves all that often. As I've gotten older, I don't really like heavy scarves on my neck, and I get really cold, so I just kind of like to have a little something around my neck. This is really cute. I love the colors of it. I believe this is wool. I feel like there was a tag. Oh yes, here we go. I thought so. I really don't know. This is cashmere. But it's not like a super soft cashmere. Maybe it's some sort of a cashmere blend. It is beautiful, and I thought it was really pretty. There was a Christian Dior scarf at the register, and it was €75, and it was stripes. And I kind of wish I had bought it. At the time, I was like, $75. I'm at a thrift store. I could have had a Dior vintage scarf. I think the colors in the scarf were just not me. In the end, I felt like I was buying it more for the brand and less for the look. Like this, I love the look of this. These are my colors. This is more me. That's why I made that decision, but I got this. The shop owners were lovely, and it was a really great experience. Again, I didn't want to get too much. I probably shouldn't have bought shoes because shoes take up a lot of room and luggage, but I thought these were so nice. So I got the suede shoes, the belt, this beautiful scarf, the little trinket box, the beautiful linen dress, and the blouse. And then I got the Sézane jeans. And I think it was like €94 is what I spent. I didn't think that the prices were like Goodwill prices, but they were certainly a lot less than a lot of like the vintage stores that were in Paris. I did not even scratch the surface. There is a big flea market on the weekend that I was not there for. We left first thing Saturday morning, so I wasn't able to do that. This was such a special trip that I can say with certainty, if it is within my means, I will get back to Paris and make thrifting more of a priority and just like maybe stay there a little bit longer, because it was my anniversary and it was a last minute decision to go, and the weather was so crazy, the drama with the train getting there. It was just a lot to juggle, and Louise Carmen, like going to that notebook store, was really a priority for me this time. But next time I would love to prioritize some thrifting. I feel like I've been drawn a little bit more to hard goods lately. I think that would just be more fun to explore little items for the house and things like that. So that is what I hope to do the next time I'm in Paris. If you've been thrifting in Paris and you have some recommendations, please leave them in the comments. There's actually a beautiful woman from Italy who I just started following for our trip in September. Her channel is called Weekend Vintage, I believe, and she's lovely, and she does exactly what I do, but she does it in Italy, and I love her style. She collects silk scarves. I've been like binge watching her videos because when I went to Italy in 2019, when Anthony was studying there, it was really difficult to find Goodwill type stores. They call them charity shops there. She goes to so many. She actually met Laura Caldwell and did a video with her, which I thought was really exciting. So I'm gonna actually reach out to her and try to meet up with her, because we're going to be in Italy for 8 days and we're in different parts of Italy. So I think it would be really fun to meet up with her. So definitely more thrifting in Italy. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks again to Punctual for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to click the link in my description and use code LORITATA for up to 10% off your purchase. All right, everybody, love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye-bye. Remember, if you want to give Punctual a try, to click the link in my description and use code LORITATA at checkout to save up to 20% off your Punctual packs.